Synthetic hair importers, retailers and hairdressers in Tanzania are worried they won't be able to sustain their businesses. This is due to a recent 25% tax imposed on dry hair imports and 10% on those manufactured locally. The government says it's trying to increase revenue.
For these Tanzanian women, their wigs are part of their identity. So it comes as no surprise that a tax increase on hair extensions has been met with anger. Tanzania's government has imposed a 25% hike on dry hair imports. In other words, wigs, weaves and hair extensions. They've also added a 10% tax on those made locally in a bid to increase government revenue. But those involved in the production line, importers, retailers, hairdressers and their clientele say the new tax is devastating for business.
I think the government should leave it alone. Leave the original cost as it is, so we can afford to be beautiful. Women have to look good, and if we cannot afford to do so, then we won't be attractive.
If the tax is raised, there won't be enough work for us. This is the only job I have. We have employed ourselves. We leave our homes to go do this work. So if I lose my customers, it will affect me a lot, because this is where I get my daily bread.
Tanzania is East Africa's third largest economy, and it's hungry for funds. That's due to heavy investment in public infrastructure projects.
South Africa is facing a severe shortage of developers, leaving major sectors such as financial institutions struggling to find employees with critical computer skills. A small alternative academy in Johannesburg is working to change that.
This coding academy in South Africa doesn't have any teachers or classes, and students don't need prior experience to attend. We Think Code in Johannesburg focuses on peer-to-peer learning. The hope is that students will master website, program and app development over the intense 2-year course. There's a market for strong coders in South Africa, but getting into the academy isn't easy. Students are selected after being put through an excruciating boot camp, which only sees the top 1% survive to be given a spot at the school.
Our universities are doing a great job of delivering technical skills that are desperately needed within the business space. The reality is that they can't keep up with the demand, and the university channel focuses on a very specific type of high school education, which then feeds into what they do. A program like We Think Code democratizes the opportunity by saying it doesn't matter what your prior educational background is, it doesn't matter what your prior social background is, you could be born to code, and here's an opportunity to include you in the economics of technology.
Unemployment in Africa's most advanced economy has remained stubbornly high since white minority rule ended 25 years ago. And government agencies say the burden of joblessness is concentrated within the 15 to 34 age group, who account for almost 2/3 of the unemployed. About 98% of We Think Code graduates now have jobs. The academy relies purely on donations from partners who sponsor students' studies and then take them for 4-month internships once they've graduated. But We Think Code is struggling to recruit young women. One of its ongoing missions is to challenge the perception that coding is a masculine field.
The African Cup of Nations kicked off on Friday, and to demonstrate the power of sport to promote rehabilitation and peace, coaches from an Italian football club have held a training camp for refugees and local youngsters in Uganda.
At just 14 years old, refugee Patrick Amber has already faced adversity. His family fled their hometown in South Sudan 3 years ago to escape civil war. But now he's playing soccer in Arua in northern Uganda, being trained by top international coaches, something he says helps him stay positive.
When I play soccer, I feel happy. I feel like I'm an important member of the community and I can share my ideas with other people.
The majority of South Sudan's refugee population are under the age of 18. Over half of those are out of school or struggling to learn in badly equipped, overcrowded facilities. Even here, resources like balls and shoes are scarce. But Patrick is sure that soccer, or football as it's more commonly known here, will open the door to a better life. He's among 64 players from refugee settlements and host communities in northern Uganda, chosen to train with coaches from top Italian club Sampdoria, ahead of the upcoming African Cup of Nations.
Our target is that guys finish 3 days and say, okay, now I know what is to play in maybe. I have an idea what is to play in a football professional player.
This training built up to a tournament between 4 teams from different settlements. The camp also marks the launch of a 3-year sports education programme for refugees and Ugandans. It will offer training, coaching and sports management courses.
A Congolese band is raising awareness about pollution and recycling. Fulu Muziki's instruments are made out of recycled materials, and band members spend almost as much time combing through heaps of trash in Kinshasa as they do practicing their songs.
Most people would see a garbage dump as an unusual place to find inspiration. But for Fulu Muziki, a music group in the DRC, and its founder, Pisco Crane, this one is more like somewhat of an instrument shop, and his own little way of helping to save the planet.
Kinshasa's become very dirty. That's why I'm taking some of the waste to create musical instruments. It's interesting to take something I can recycle and turn it into a musical instrument, as well as create our costumes. Some may throw away things, and I look for ways to reuse it, because waste isn't good for our health.
The Congo's capital lacks proper waste management and recycling facilities, and has become littered with discarded plastic bags and the like, which often blocks drainage systems. Fulu Muziki says their music helps to raise awareness in a country that produces over 9,000 tons of garbage every day.
When we return, we explore the influences behind Mozambique's most popular dishes. And remember, you can talk to us on Twitter. Our handle is @Africa_ENCA. Do stay with #Africa.